one point, Swami looks at me and he says, "You go ahead and share your experiences." And I humbly bow down to him and I say, "Swami, which experiences do you want me to share?" I found him because our car was right there, and I thought, okay, our car is gone. And so I saying, I screamed and I just went towards the window. And when we all took a peek, unbelievably, what happened was there's not even a single leaf touched the car, but between the tree and the car was just like a maybe 1 centimeter distance. So we could not believe that, because the doctor said his condition is very serious, and so there were nearly 14 doctors standing around him, since my husband was telling me. I couldn't sleep and I was just praying to Swami. And next day morning we went to the hospital, and then the doctor said the situation is really bad, so we don't know, we have to wait until the afternoon. So I'm just praying to you, Swami, you should do some miracle that you save my child, save our child. And I was just praying to Swami so vigorously, and finally around 1 o'clock or so, suddenly our son opened his eyes on his own and he started to call, "Amma, Amma, I'm feeling." And it was a traffic jam and there was so much rain over there, but we were trying to drive and keep going. As he kept going, suddenly out of the blue, this person, the Swamiji, he said, "Stop the car." He just screamed out of his completely out of his throat, stop the car. So my husband was trying to slow down, but he said no. But within few minutes the fog started to clear, and alas, we saw there were like 5 or 6 cars got collided on one with another right in front of our eyes. So there was a traffic jam and we could not go. We were so shocked we couldn't come out of it, because then Swamiji told us, "See, I didn't scream. Swami made me to scream so that we will be saved. If not, we would have been collided with those cars too." So Swami saved all our lives. Sai Ram, my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan. I offer my humble salutations and my humble regards to him. I am so happy to share his glories again. I am sure most of you would have seen my Soul Jones video that was done by Brother Ted Henry in 2009 June, and I am so happy to share my experiences again after so many years. So whatever I have left in that video, whatever I felt like sharing and I was not able to, I'll be able to share it now, because all these 11 years Swami has given several other experiences which I would love to share. So I just want to start with Swami initially. I also mentioned in that other video that Swami came in my dream. I had a dream. In the dream, I'm sharing my experience. In my dream, Swami is just talking in front of the people, in front of the devotees, and he says that he tries to do all the way I used to talk, the way I used to laugh and whatever. He was just showing the gestures to them. So as he was doing that, I just kept looking at Swami like that. And at one point, Swami looks at me and he says, "You go ahead and share your experiences." And I humbly bow down to him and I say, "Swami, which experiences do you want me to share?" So he says, "Go ahead and share your grandma's story and your stove story." So saying, I started to share my experiences in the dream to all the devotees in Kulwant Hall, whereas in the real time, during the sleep, I just started to talk so loudly that my husband woke up, and now he will tell you what happened at that time, and then I'll continue.
Sai Ram, my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba. I just want to add a little bit about Jayanti's dream when she was talking, and it was probably around 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up listening to the voice of her. I could feel really that she was talking in her dream, but what she was talking was about philosophy of life. In fact, Swami was using her voice to give a discourse about the purpose of human life. Swami was talking about the requirement of detachment for sadhakas and leading a life with control of senses and the mind. And this reminded me of a Nobel laureate lecture that I listened to when I was a graduate student at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. It was so profound and it was so touching, and she used English vocabulary that she did not use before or after that. Then I realized that it was Swami who was talking, and the words were very, very, carefully delivered, and the vocabulary touched my heart, and I felt, Swami, what a blessing that, you have come in her dream and you have advised her to lead a purposeful life. Om Sri Sai Ram.
Now I'll go back to Columbia, Missouri, where Swami introduced us, or in other words, he brought us into his fold. So in Columbia, they were conducting bhajans in our friend's place. So we also wanted to conduct the bhajans at our home. This was after 2 years or so. I had that curiosity. I wish we can have it. Of course, we lived in an apartment, and I was just praying to Swami. One particular week, suddenly that feeling came up. I said, Swami, I wish we can have bhajans at our home too, in our apartment. And lo and behold, the following week, for our utter surprise, the family, there were two families who were conducting, and one family who was conducting suddenly announced that they are going to move, and they wanted to hand over this bhajan session to somebody else who can take in charge. I was so thrilled, and I was asked, looking at my husband, and he said that we need to wait because there were other people who had been coming for a long time, so obviously they have to get the chance. So our brother Gopal, he announced that okay, until next week you can all think about it and come and let us know. And then the following week, I was just looking around, is anyone going to open is anyone going to lift their hands or what? Because I very much wanted to have it at our home, and by Swami's grace, nobody nobody raised their hand or opened their mouth. So we went ahead and we told them that we'll be able to take it and we'll be able to go with that. So it's a big commitment, but by Swami's grace, we were able to conduct. So during that time, it so happened one day, our younger son, when he was playing at school, he fell down. It was a game called Red Rover game, and it seems he went and hit somebody and he fell down and he became unconscious. So we had to take him to the hospital. And when he took him to the hospital, the doctor said his condition is very serious, and so there were nearly 14 doctors standing around him, since my husband was telling me. I couldn't withstand that. I could not take it. Couldn't take the news. I was at home because my husband took my children to Brother Gopal's house for a dance program, dance practice, and then later I didn't hear from him for a long time. I was wondering what's going on. And one other couple, it was their wedding anniversary. They wanted to give us a treat, and they were calling me back and forth, why don't you all come? And I told that once they come back, I'll come over. We will come over. But for a long time, I didn't hear from my husband. Then finally, my husband called me, and I immediately asked him, what happened? Where are you? They have been calling us for several times. Then he said, okay, listen to me. This is what happened. Suresh is in the hospital, so you have to come right away to the hospital. I was really shocked, and I couldn't bear that. Then immediately this couple, when they called, I told them the news, and they said, okay, be ready, we'll take you over there. So they took me over there, and then I went and saw Suresh and our younger son, and I was just crying. And then that night the doctor said only one person can stay there, and my husband stayed there, and I just went with my friends, and I prayed to Swami that I should not get any phone call, anything with any kind of news. So I just praying, and throughout the night I couldn't sleep, and I was just praying to Swami. And next day morning we went to the hospital, and then the doctor said the situation is really bad, so we don't know, we have to wait until the afternoon. So I was continuing to pray to Swami, and then around that morning I just prayed to Swami that following Thursday was our turn in our home. The bhajan was supposed to take place at our home. So I just prayed to Swami. I told him that I don't know what he will do. Excuse me. I don't know what you will do, Swami. By this Thursday, when I'm going to connect the puja, the bhajan, our son should be with us. He should be sitting on my lap, Swami. So I'm just praying to you, Swami. You should do some miracle that you save my child, save our child. And I was just praying to Swami so vigorously. And finally, around 1 o'clock or so, suddenly our son opened his eyes on his own and he started to call, Amma, Amma, I'm feeling hungry. That gave me so much relief, and I could not thank our beloved Swami, the Sai Mother, who saved our son. So I thanked Swami so much, and the doctor said he can go home that evening, and the next day, and then we just need to come for checkups after 1 month for a checkup. So finally, the next day he was discharged, and that was a Wednesday, and then the next day was the bhajan at our home. And our friend, she asked me, Mrs. Ananta Gopal asked me, do you want to conduct or do you want us to have it at our home? I said, no problem, sister. I prayed to Swami, so we can do that. And as a token of gratitude, we had that bhajan. And of course, as I prayed, our younger son was sitting in my lap, and I was just pouring my sincere gratitude to Swami that evening, during the whole bhajan. So this is what I just want to narrate, that how Swami saved our son in spite of that kind of critical situation with the head injury, how he just saved him. It's absolutely a big miracle. I can never forget that in my life. It's really a huge miracle. By Swami's grace, he survived, and of course Swami blessed them, that I can tell you later. So Swami is always there, is omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient. He always comes for rescue, no doubt about it. So I just want to narrate this story. Whether it's a material thing or is it a human being, anything you ask Swami, he will definitely be there to help you. So I want to narrate about our car. We just purchased a new car, and it was a Sunday afternoon. There was a downpour, and we were just sitting in the apartment. It was in the afternoon. Since there was a huge tree right through our window, if you see, we can see that tree, and below we used to park the car right below that. So that afternoon, suddenly I started to scream, car sitting in the floor. My husband was telling, oh, what's wrong with you? Because my children were in the other room and my husband was ironing the clothes. He said, why are you screaming? What happened? I didn't wait for his answer, and I just wait to answer him. I just ran towards the window, because the tree that was right there just fell off due to the storm, bad condition. And my heart was pounding because our car was right there, and I thought, okay, our car is gone. And so I screamed, and I just went towards the window. And when we all took a peek, unbelievably, what happened was, there's not even a single leaf touched the car, but between the tree and the car was just like a maybe 1 centimeter distance. So we could not believe that, because had the tree fell this side, the car would have been total, whereas on the opposite side we saw another red color car, a tree fell on that and the car was total. So Swami just saved our car without any problem. It was really unbelievable. So we thought this is really a miracle of Swami. From Columbia, Missouri, now we are moving to Manhattan, Kansas. So once we move to Kansas, I just want to let you know, I want to describe about how Swami helped us in buying a home. So here are the details. So once we moved to Manhattan, Kansas, we were there for 6 months, and then slowly the feeling came that we should look for a home so that our children, both of them, could enjoy and have a comfort of their own home. So we were hunting for homes, and of course we went through a realtor. Initially we tried, and then we went through a realtor, and she showed us many houses, but we had a couple of criteria, like we wanted a big hall for the bhajans, for Swami's bhajans, and then a big kitchen. As you know, most of the Indian ladies, we all are stuck in the kitchen. Bedroom or other rooms is a matter of just a little time, but most of the time we'll be here. So we were very particular about it, especially the Swami's bhajan hall, because until we were in Missouri, Columbia, Missouri and Manhattan, Kansas, Our intention was Thursday means Swami's bhajan, we had to do it in a very nice scale and elaborate way every week. So that was our intention. So obviously we were looking for a big hall, but whichever house this lady took us, for some reason either the kitchen will be small or there will not be any big hall. So one or the other reason we couldn't get into that. For it almost we looked into 50 houses, I would say. So then finally I just gave up and I told Swami, Swami, we have looked into so many houses. I wish you get some house that will fit our criteria so that we can get in. Time is going on. So please help us, Swami. I just prayed to him. And the next day the realtor said, oh, there's one house that has come up. It's only 8 years old. Because until then, whatever houses she showed, it was almost 30 years old. So this one, she said, 8 years old, do you want to go for it? So we thought 8 years sounded really great, and we said, okay, we'll go for it. And but I told her that, okay, can I let you know by tomorrow morning? And she said it has a basement as well as a good big kitchen. So I said, okay, we'll go for it. And she went and she took us over there, and we went and looked into that, and we were really impressed. We thought, okay, it's meeting our criteria. Why don't you go for it? And I told her by tomorrow morning definitely we'll let you know. She said okay, and then I went to bed, and throughout the night, before going to bed I prayed to Swami, Swami, if that house is for us, come and appear in my dream. And the next day morning I broke my head, and there was no sign of Swami coming into my dream. So I thought probably I would have forgotten maybe, and we were getting ready to go and go for the contract, because she asked us to come at 9 o'clock. If we are happy with that, she asked us to come at 9. So we thought, okay, let's go, and we all got ready, and we were about to leave. She called us, and she said, and immediately I told her name was Faye. We said, oh Faye, we are on our way, we'll see you shortly. And immediately she said, oh wait, I'll go on to tell you something. Oh, whatever you want to say, we'll come over there. We have decided to go for that house, let's come. She said, no, that's what I want to tell you. Sorry to tell you that the house is gone. If the house was gone, you told yesterday night that it is there. Yeah, somebody was willing to pay more than you. So the house is gone, but do not worry, that house is not a good house, I should tell you. There are some all kinds of damages are there. And she started to tell all the negative things about the house. Until then she told all the positive things about the house, whereas the moment it left her hands, she immediately said, oh, she started to tell all the negative things. And she did her realtor work very well. She did her duty, I would say. So then she said, oh, don't worry, I'll look into some more houses and I'll get back to you. Within 3 days or so, again she called and she said, you know what, there's one more house and this is only 3 years old. You have to tell me right away. If not, I cannot guarantee on this house as well. I said, okay, give me 10 minutes. I'll get, no, she called me the previous day evening. I said, definitely early morning tomorrow, I'll let you know by 7 o'clock. How is that? She said, okay, call me at 8 o'clock, but I need to know. If not, I cannot guarantee you. I said, okay. And then after hanging up the phone, when I went to the puja room and I told Swami, what do you say for this house? Will you come and appear in my dream? If this house is for us, come and appear in my dream. Then within a fraction of a second, I changed my mind. I said, no. What if I forget, Swami? Forget about it. I'll talk to you tomorrow through books. Because generally, in my case, always for anything and everything, I'll ask Swami, and for everything, either he'll answer me through books or through dreams or through visions or something. So this is the way I used to communicate with him. So what happened? Of course, pictures too, Swami's pictures. So what happened that night? I gave up that idea and I said, okay, Swami, tomorrow morning I will talk to you through books. I'll ask you I put my request through books to you. So saying, went to bed, got up early in the morning and got ready, came to Swami, bowed down at his feet and asked him, I got that Loving God book was sitting right there. I said, Swami, I'm going to open this book, give me an answer. If this house is for us, please give me an answer. So saying, I prayed to Swami and I closed my eyes and I opened the book. The moment I opened, in inverted commas it said, do not give up this house. This is, even if the Mysore Maharaja Palace, compared to Mysore Maharaja Palace, this is more bigger than that. I don't know in what context he said that. And then later he said, because it is Kana Kana Kindi, it has God in it. These were the lines I read there. The moment he said God in it, I felt so happy. What else do we need? He said, okay, let's go for it. And then immediately we called that lady and I told her, and she said that there are some minus points about this house I want to tell you beforehand. I said, I don't care about it. We'll go for the house, and made her work so easy. Then we went there and we signed the contract and we are so happy, came back, and that day happened to be a Thursday, the day we signed the contract. Then for us everything is Swami, nothing matters to us. So what we did, the same day we informed all our friends over there in Manhattan and Junction City. We have another nice couple, we called them as well, and we conducted a big bhajan in our home. So that big bhajan is equal to for a housewarming ceremony for us. So we were so happy that it all happened on a Thursday, and it was going on. Then what happened, we came to know that there was a Swamiji. After like 2 or 3 months later, there was a Swamiji called J.K. Swamiji, who is an ardent devotee of Swami. He is also a messenger of Swami. So Swami used to guide him, and he used to do yagnas, as he has done in many places all over the world. So we came to know that he is going to conduct that in Nebraska. So he is visiting there. So we thought, why don't we go there and attend that event. So when we went there, they announced that if anybody is interested, they are most welcome to take him to their home, and he can conduct yagnas at your homes too. They mentioned like that. So I thought, okay, we have not done any housewarming ceremony or yagna or anything, because for us everything is Swami. So because he is a ardent devotee of Swami, why don't we invite him and we can have a yagna here at our place. I thought, and I asked my husband. He said, yeah, that's a good idea, we can do it. Then we informed everybody, and then all they told was, all you need to do is just go and pick him up from the airport and drop him off at the airport, and of course you may need to get some ingredients that he is going to ask you to get. That's it, nothing else is needed, and you can call all your family and friends and go ahead and conduct it. So we thought, okay, we'll do it, and we went to pick up him from the airport. We had a game over there. When my husband went to see him, he came out of that hall, and then when we thought, okay, he's here, let me go look for my husband, then he came here, and this person also went in search of my husband. So this was, we are having a fun, and then finally we came home. So finally we were driving back. As we were driving back, there was a big, a downpour of rain, so heavy rain. And it was a traffic jam, and there was so much rain over there, but we were trying to drive and keep going. As we kept going, suddenly out of the blue, this person, the Swamiji, he said, stop the car. He just screamed out of his, completely out of his throat, stop the car. So my husband was trying to slow down, but he said, no, stop the car. And my husband has to put a sudden brake. In front of us, it was full of fog, completely covered, and we could not see anything. So obviously my husband thought, okay, this is the reason he is telling us to stop, let's stop. But within few minutes, the fog started to clear, and alas, we saw there were like 5 or 6 cars got collided one with another, right in front of our eyes. So there was a traffic jam, and we could not go. We were so shocked we couldn't come out of it, because then Swamiji told us, see, I didn't scream, Swami made me to scream so that we will be saved. If not, we would have been collided with those cars too. So Swami saved all our lives. He said this, and we were really shaken up, and then we thanked Swami, thanked him, then we drove. And when we reached home, obviously when we invite any saints, what we do, we will have a kind of a kumbha, that we'll do arati, and we'll have kumbha and everything that's been set up. So we have set up everything, and we asked our friends to be ready with the camera and video, and invited all our friends to be ready so that we can, once he comes, he can start the yagna. So he came inside and he said, okay, go and get arati plate, I want to do arati. He asked me to go and get some aksharas. So I said, okay, and immediately I went, and with the foam plate, I got some rice and haldi powder mixed together, and just brought it and gave it to him. The moment I gave it to him, he just placed it near that altar, and then he started to do arati. As he was doing arati, suddenly he said, look, the rice is forming the shape of Om, Sanskrit Om. We didn't understand initially what he's talking about. Then suddenly we all witnessed that akshata that I gave him, it started to separate on its own and form the shape of Sanskrit Om. We all were so thrilled, and that was the first miracle in our life we witnessed by our own eyes. So we were all really thrilled, and immediately he said, see, Swami is already here, what else do you need? Swami has already come. So then I recollected, remember Swami told when I asked him if I can go for this house, he said, yeah, go for it, it's because it has God in it. So I assumed, okay, Swami has come. So we were so happy and we conducted the yajna. So that got over. And then 2 years passed by. Not 2 years, maybe a year and a half passed by. And I had an intention that I wanted to bring our grandma to America, because that was my only dream in my life, that with her, because she raised me from the second I was born. As you all know, in my previous video I mentioned that. So I wanted to pay my gratitude back to her. It did not work all those years. So finally the time came, we thought, okay, let us do that. And I had that feeling, and I told my husband that we need to bring her. But my husband was so practical, and he said, my dear, just know we have got this home, so we need to just earn some money and then wait for some time, then bring her. And so you need to wait for some more time, he said. I said, absolutely, I have no problem, I can wait, not a problem at all. But what is the guarantee that grandma can wait until then? It's not in our hands, I told him. He said, yeah, I truly understand your point too, I don't know what to say. Oh, then I told, okay, then let's ask Swami. He said, yeah, go ahead and ask Swami, whatever Swami says, we will do. So that night, I prayed to Swami and I told him that if you think I can bring my grandmother here, actually it was not a dream. Actually we celebrated Swami's birthday. So we had that big event in our home and we were so happy. So that day what I did, I had a nice rose, beautiful rose with a thick stem on it. And what I did, I placed it on Swami's picture on the top and tied it to the string, tied the string with the string to for the frames, the ring. And I just placed it and we all were worshipping. And during that prayer, I asked Swami, if you think that I can bring my grandmother here, if it's possible, that you know that I have tied that rose so tightly to your picture. So that flower should fall down. It should fall down. It should break and fall down. If it falls down, then I will take it for granted that definitely I can proceed in welcoming my grandmother to USA. I prayed to him, and almost the Arati time was about to get over. At that point, chuck, that flower just got broke and then just fell down. Immediately I was so happy. I thanked Swami so much that, oh, that flower fell down. Thank you, Swami. Then you have given the permission. Thank you thank you so much, I told him. And the puja got over. Then I told this matter to my husband. He was also very happy. But now the next thing is, what will you do for the expense? Because we just got the home, I told you. So financially we were very low, so we didn't know what to do. During that time, I had a friend over there, and she introduced another friend to me. And that lady, she was the husband was in the computer. And you know, in 2001 the computer was really in a high level, right? So everybody were getting well paid. So what happened, she introduced her, and I told about my grandma stories to those two ladies. They do know about it. So the feeling came to my mind that why don't I approach her to borrow some money. When I told this to my husband, he said, Ma, I don't feel that is good, because once you borrow the money, we will lose a good friendship that we have. So I don't know what to say. But then again I told him, okay, again for this let me ask Swami. If he comes and appears in my dream, I'll go ahead and I'll ask her. If not, I have to keep quiet, I told him. So that night I prayed to Swami and I said, Swami, if you think that I can approach her, please come and appear in my dream. And lo and behold, in the morning when I woke up, I could literally see Swami's Abhyasta picture that appeared in my dream. So when I told this to my husband, he was happy. He said, okay, go ahead and do it. So I called this lady, the local person. I called her and I told her, my dear sister, this is the thing, that would you be able to ask your friend if I can borrow some money. You remember I told you about my grandmother? Yeah, of course. So I want to borrow some money. Do you think I can approach her? She said, I don't know what to say. I'll just convey whatever you told me, and let's see what she says. Then she asked me, okay, how much money do you want to borrow? She thought I'll tell her like $1,000 or $2,000, but I told her I need $10,000. 10,000? And she was kind of very quiet at that other end, and she said, okay, I'll tell her whatever you said and we'll see. I said okay, thanked her, and I hung up the phone. So Sunday went, Monday went, Tuesday went, Thursday, Wednesday went. Then I thought, okay, that's it, the topic is over. But Thursday morning she called me, and when she called, generally by hearing the tone you can figure out, right, whether it's positive news or what. So I was just keen to listen to her voice, and then because they say hello like that, or hello, right, the difference is there. So immediately she called when I picked up the phone, she said, hello Jayanthi, guess what? I said, because I thought when I asked 10,000 I'll get at least $2,000 or $3,000. So guess what? Yeah, please go on, my dear, tell me. You know what, I spoke to her, and guess what? She said that she'll send you a check for $10,000. I just couldn't believe it. I really pinched myself. Is this true or what? And then she said that she said she's going to send a check, so you can go and bring your grandma and be happy. I said, I cannot thank you, my dear. I'm really, really grateful to you. Oh, I didn't do anything. I'm just an intermediate person with all my friend. She's helping you, so you can thank her. I said, definitely, kindly thank her. I'll talk to her, I told her, and then hang up the phone. Immediately I ran to the puja room and fell at Swami's feet and thanked him so much, and I called my husband, and in the meantime, that fraction of time, my dream started to grow. I started to imagine, okay, I should go and get this for my grandma, get that for my grandmother. My imagination was just going on up and up, that I will all but for my grandma, not for anything else. I want to get all the best things, the best clothes, the best jewelry for her. Those were the things that were running in my mind. By making use of the $10,000. So then when I told my husband, he, as I said, he is a practical person, right? He said, my dear, I can understand your emotional feelings, that's good, but just wait, let us see the check by our own eyes. Once we see the check, then we can do all these things, so kindly wait until then. I said, yeah, when Swami says, why should I worry? I told him, yeah, that is true, I truly agree, but at the same time we need to have patience. So just wait, let's see. Once I get the check, immediately we can process, no problem at all. So I waited. The next day, Friday at 11 o'clock, the doorbell rang, and when I ran out to open the door, lo and behold, there was a FedEx person standing with an envelope and asking me to sign the clipboard. So generally when I sign, I make sure that I try to pretend as though I'm writing Sai Ram, and then only I'll sign my name till today. So likewise, I tried to pretend to do Sai Ram. My hands were shivering, and then however I just signed my name and I gave it to him, and he gave the envelope. I ran to the puja room, placed it at Swami's feet, put some vibhuti on it, prayed to Swami and saying Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Gently I tried to cut it and open and take out the letter, because I was not sure what's inside, so let me see, I thought. And when I took it out, lo and behold, there was a check for $10,000. As she promised, she has sent it within 1 day, not even 24 hours. I was really taken back. I couldn't believe. The amazing thing in this was, I have never seen that lady. We have never met that lady. We have never seen that lady. All we have done is only through phone calls we have talked to each other. So I was so thrilled, I didn't know what to say. And the other amazing thing was, she has written a letter. Obviously they will write a letter, okay, this is the amount I included, please make sure you have to return the amount in such and such date, and I want to make sure that everything is clear, this and that, right? So obviously I also thought the same when I started to read the letter, and in that letter, not even a single place she has mentioned about the amount or neither about returning it. All she has mentioned was, kindly make sure that you bring your grandma safely, and we all are longing to see your grandmother. May your dream come true. I'm so happy for you. Have a safe flight, this and that, all the positive things. Only about my trip and my grandma's arrival, and nothing about the money at all. We were really, when my husband came home and I showed him the letter, and of course I called him right away and told him this is what I got, and he couldn't believe himself. And he also, when he came home, he also read the letter and saw the check. We all were kind of dumbfounded. We didn't know what to say. He was also so thankful. We all were grateful to Swami, and we were so happy. And we thought, we learned the lesson that if we all be like this, we have to be like this in future. We also should act like that. But at this point, I want to also narrate one small incident that we had it in Vancouver. The reason I'm bringing this story is, the reason I am bringing this story is because I had a friend in Vancouver. They were trying to open a restaurant, and she was in need of some money. And when we moved from India, we had to. But we were really in such a situation that we had to earn money to go back to India. So I was very particular about being very frugal and also saving some money by doing babysitting job. So we had some money. So when this lady said that she needs some amount, she said, I need $500. Would you be able to give me? And I really wanted to help her. At the same time, she told me that I have to call my other friends also, because I need so that money by tomorrow morning. Casually I asked her, how much money do you need? Oh, I need to gather close to 5,000. We are in short of $5,000. Oh, is that right? I told her. I said, okay, definitely I'll talk to my husband and we'll give you the $500, not a problem. I told her, and I hung up the phone. Then when my husband came home, I told him this message, and I told that we have to help him, and he also came forward that we should help. Then I told him, see, she needs $5,000, and in our bank we have like close to $6,000, I think. So why don't we give the 5,000 so that she don't need to go and beg anyone or ask anyone? Why don't we do that? And my husband, Mahatma Gandhi, the generous man, he immediately said, yes, that's a good idea. Why she should go and ask anybody? Let us go ahead and give it. When we have it, why not? So saying, immediately he went, and we went that same night to her home, late night, knocked the door, and she opened the door, and we told her, my dear, we just came here to give you the check. She thought that it's that $500, and she said, oh, thank you, my dear, thank you so much, I cannot thank you enough. But then we told, my dear, take a clear look at that check. Already she slept, poor lady. So when she looked into that, she noticed that it was 5,000, not 500. She just hugged me and she couldn't control her joy. So we said, I go and sleep peacefully, God is there, everything will go well, nothing to worry. And she told, my husband has not come home yet, and once he comes, I am going to share this. And she felt very happy. The next day morning, her husband called, and he was really overwhelmed, and he said, he started to call us as God, you are the real God. So we told him, don't worry, brother, just go ahead and connect. Our congratulations to you, everything will go well, go ahead and open the restaurant. So of course later, after some time, of course they returned the $5,000 back to us. So the reason I am bringing this story is because, this example, because that day when somebody asked for 500, without even having a second thought, we went and gave them 5,000. So as a token of gratitude or as a token of appreciation, Swami, we didn't know about this person at all, who she was, where she is, we have no clue. Out of the blue, she sent a $10,000 check without even having any confirmation whether we'll return it or not. And she has not mentioned anything in that letter. So we were really taken back. So this incident proved very well that whatever you do, definitely you'll get the benefit right after that. There's no doubt about it. And he will give you double of that amount. Now, let's say it's an amount or any deed or anything, you'll get like a bonus for whatever you have done. But anything you do, the main underlined statement is, do it without any expectation. We didn't do to that lady that, oh, that we are going to get this amount later like this, or neither she's going to appreciate us. No such things. At that moment, the feeling that we got was, oh, she's suffering. When we have, why not? Why don't we help her? That was the only feeling came to our mind. So obviously we went and did it. So here in return, somewhere out of the blue, Swami made that lady to send that money, and of course we were able to go and bring our grandma back. So but I will stop here right now, and I'll continue that story again, because that's another unique story. Now I'm going to tell you that how Swami enabled us to bring our beloved grandma to America. So we all planned to go to India, all the four of us, my husband, myself and my two children, Satish and Suresh. We all left to India. So our plan was that we three will stay back there for a month, since it was holidays for our children in the month of June. So my husband was planning to stay there for 1 week and then return back to 2 weeks and return back to US. So we all traveled. We all were so excited that we are going to bring our grandmother, and we informed the news to my brother, and they also were very happy. So we went there, and then this time we wanted to go and see Puttaparthi. That was the first time we are visiting there, and none of our relatives are into Swami's fold. So do we. Only after coming to America, Swami brought us into his fold. So luckily, one of my cousin brother, he said that he had been there once. So he said he will accompany us. He will take us over there. So after finishing all our tour within the 2 weeks, the last week, close to the day my husband was leaving to America, we came to Puttaparthi, and we went to Parthi, and that was a new experience, brand new experience for us. So we didn't know the exact timing, so we went according to Indian Standard Time, and alas, by the time we went there, the whole crowd was away, and they all started to move away from Kulwant Hall. So Swami's darshan was over. So we didn't know the real impact of that. Anyway, we just went there and we thought, okay, we are not lucky enough, and suddenly we started to come. As I told you, all we knew about Swami was only Thursday means Swami's bhajans, that's it. Nothing else more than that about Swami. So we didn't pay much attention due to the details, that we missed this darshan or whatever. Finally, when we were about to leave and getting closer to the gate, suddenly everybody said, move, 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 and there was such a huge sound, and we all were trying to move, and we didn't know why they asked us to all to move, and suddenly we saw a red color car was coming, and lo and behold, obviously we saw our beloved Swami sitting in the car, and this was in 2001, so you can imagine how young he was. So he was sitting in the car and we were able to have a very close darshan of him. And we just did a namaskar. That's what we knew at that point of time. So all we did was a namaskar, and then Swami's car left, and that's it. Then we came back to Chennai, and the next day my husband was about to leave to US, and he left to US, and as soon as he reached here, he gave us a call and told that he reached safely, and we were very happy. And we were in the midst of getting things prepared for our grandma, getting her blouse stitched and everything, get all her things that she needs to go to settle in America for 3 with us. So we got all those things, and we thought that we'll have her for 6 months at least. So we took all the things that we need for her during that time, and also we got some jewelry for her in Singapore on the way back to India. So we got some jewelry and everything. Finally, we were getting ready in that, and we were so thrilled. After 3 days, my husband called me, and when he called, I was casually talking to him that I'm getting ready with all the things, and we all are so happy, this and that. Suddenly he said, Jayanthi, I want to tell you something, please listen to me very carefully. I said, yeah, please tell me, what's the matter? He said, I'm so sorry to tell you that we'll not be able to bring grandma this time. I was totally I broke down, and I said, what do you mean that we cannot take grandma? Why? He said, I just want to let you know that unfortunately I lost my job. By the time I came to India and I came back, something happened here in the university. They played some tricks and I lost my job. That's it. I felt as though a big a rock fell on my head, because the main thing that came to my mind was, how are we going to pay the $10,000 that we borrowed from that lady? That was my first thought that came to my mind. And secondly, I broke down that my dreams came false. How am I going to reveal this to my relatives? Will they believe that if I tell them this is the thing? Because as you know, most of them until now, recent period, most of them are thinking that, America means the money is growing in the trees, and they just don't have time to pluck the dollar bills. That's the kind of impression they all had there. They all have. I mean, even some of them, they still have that feeling till today. But only those who live in America, they know what a kind of lifestyle we are going through here. What a hectic life we go through here, and how much we sacrifice. What a kind of sacrifice the whole family is doing, starting from the father, mother, and the children. So how life is here, and what a kind of turmoil that we go through every day in life here. Of course, the plus points are that when you open the tap, you will get the water. When you switch on the lights will be on 24/7, no doubt about it. Other than that, you don't know. Not many of them know what kind of turmoil all the Americans who are here, especially who have come from abroad, what a kind of task they are going through here. So we were sailing on the same boat. So I was really shocked and didn't know what to do. How am I going to reveal this to my relatives? They may think that we have just played a game or something. So we will be so embarrassed and all kinds of feelings going through on my mind. I was just literally crying, but I cannot show that outside either. So I was trying to control, and I was just sobbing within my mind, within my heart. And then I told my husband, okay, try everywhere, wherever you can, try to apply. Somehow we have to take our grandma back with us. So please try to do that. He said, yes, my dear, I'll try all my best. Swami only has to intervene. I have no control on with me. So we were trying to do that, and then I told him, you try everywhere, just give me a call then and there and give an update. The next day also he called and he said, I tried here and there. Immediately the first answer is, no, right now we don't have any openings. There's no vacancy. This is what they keep telling me. So what am I to do? So then suddenly I remembered one friend who moved from Kansas to Michigan. He was his classmate. He moved from Kansas to Michigan. So I told him, why don't you approach him as well? Just in case, please approach him too. He said, yeah, definitely I'll contact him. I'll try to do that. And then that same night I prayed to Swami so vigorously. Swami, I don't know what to say. If you say something, it is just the truth. None other than the truth. I know that very well. So you gave me the assurance that you are going to bring your grandma. She is going to come to America and be with us. So what happened to your promise, Swami? You told us that you are going to do that. Now this has happened. How are we going to manage this, Swami? We had to pay that the debt to that lady. Top of that, we had to take our grandma there. So how are we going to survive? Please tell me, Swami. All I thought, because that house that we bought, I forgot to tell that the house that we bought was a ranch style home that we chose. So it was a ranch style. So we thought this is apt for our grandma to move around the home. But now, if this is the case, we don't know what to say, Swami. Where will you get a job? Where is you going to move? What are we going to do with the house? So all kinds of thoughts are going on. I was really perturbed. I was really kind of disturbed by all these thoughts. So I just finally prayed to Swami. Swami, I don't know what you'll do. Again, I want reassurance from you. As I told you in the beginning that I'll ask for several reassurance from Swami, and he also will keep giving the same thing, because that's the truth. Once he says no means no, I will never ask him again. But if he says yes, I'll make sure I'll repeatedly ask him. Somehow I developed that kind of dialogue with Swami like that. And poor Swami he also will answer me. So likewise that night I prayed to Swami and I said, come and appear in my dream today too. I want you to appear in my dream so that I'll be certain that somehow we'll be able to take our grandma back to US and you will help us. I prayed to him and I slept through, and next day morning, lo and behold, yes, Swami did come and appear in my dream with the blessing sign. So I took it for granted, and I was so certain that if he says so, he will do it. How, when, where, we have no clue, but he will do it, that is for sure. So saying, I was so happy, and lo and behold, the same morning my husband called and he said, guess what, Jayanthi? As he said, I spoke to my classmate, and luckily, since there was one professor who was looking for a candidate, so he connected me and her, and she said there is no need of a personal interview, I'll just do a phone interview. And she did the phone interview, and she was very happy with me, and she asked me to come and join on November 19th. As you all know, as we Sai devotees, November 19th is Ladies' Day, right? Of course, at that point of time, I didn't know, but that was the day that he has to join Michigan, University of Michigan, and this happened in August. So we had only 2 months, 2.5 months in between. It was almost end of August actually. So because we had to come back because our children's school will start in September, right? So we were planning to come, and immediately when I got this news, somehow I felt a feeling that, oh, somehow we can take our grandma and go and sit in the airport, no matter even there is 3 or 4 days more, still we'll sit in the airport because I don't want any other changes to occur. So that was the feeling in my mind. So finally we started to get ready, and we came to the airport, and most of our relatives and friends, they came and bid farewell to my grandmother and to us, and some of them were really excited that at the age of 87 she is leaving to America. Of course, she was a clean patient by Swami's grace, touch wood. So she left to she was 87 years old, so we left to the airport. So most of them, our relatives, were very happy, but some of them were really kind of little having a kind of feeling or jealous. At this age, is it very important for her to go to America? I wish they take us. So that was the feeling in them. So finally we came to the airport and we bid farewell and we boarded the flight. and we went and landed in Malaysia, and we got down and we had to take another flight to go to US. So we had a break there. We stayed in the motel and we all were taking some rest, me, my grandmother, and our both the boys. And then after some time we had to get ready and had to board the bus to go to the airport, and then from there catch the flight. So we all got, we woke up, and then I took my grandma to the restroom. That was the first time she's using the western toilet. So we took her I took her into the room and made her sit there, and she did use the toilet on the airport as well as in the flight, but in this as a bathroom, this was the first time she's using that. So I made her to sit on the tub. After she is done with using the toilet, I made her to sit on the tub, and I just leaned forward towards the sink to get the soap for her to wash her face and everything. And the moment I leaned forward this side, alas, she fell back in the tub without her knowing. As I told you, that's the first time experience for her. She has never sat like that. So she just fell off without knowing and thinking that she's leaning somewhere. And that's it, bang, I was put to death when I saw that, and no response from her. I was really scared, and I shouted with my children, calling their names, and they were behind. Open the door, Amma, what happened, what happened? Then we tried, all the three of us tried to somehow lift her and came and put her in the bed, tried our level best to wake her up. No sign of her opening the eyes. We were really scared. I was really pleading to Swami. I was really put to death and didn't know what to do. We are up in the air, Swami. We are somewhere in a different country. What am I to do? And I'm just with my children. I'm really scared. Please take care of my grandma. All the way I brought her to take her and be with the maker, to stay with me and enjoy with me. But this is not the case, Swami. What am I going to reply to my relatives? What should I do, Swami? I'm not able to contact my husband as well. Those days a cell phone was not that popular. So I didn't know what to do. Finally, somehow we managed. We will get into the bus, and maybe there will be some doctors in the flight who might be able to help her. So let's try to take her down. So somehow we managed. I don't know. Even now, if I think, I myself don't remember how we did it. With the help of my children and myself, somehow I think they brought a wheelchair or something and made her sit on that, and we just took her to the elevator. And somehow, and one of my sons, he said he'll grab some food and come, and he grabbed the food, and we all went and boarded the bus. Somehow they lifted her and made her sit in the seat, and the bus moved. I was just sweating, and my heart was pounding, just praying to Swami, just make sure that we take her to the flight, and made her sit in the flight and reach the Kansas or USA. I was just praying, and the moment she sat in the bus, once the bus started to move with the cold breeze that started to draft around towards us, suddenly she woke up out of the blue. She woke up and she said, "Oh my dear, why your cheeks are so kind of swollen? Were you crying? I know I fell down, but I don't know what happened after that. But now I had a big hurt on the back, but now my head is okay, my dear. I am perfectly fine. Please don't cry. Why are you crying? Are you okay? Are you okay?" She was asking me in return. Oh my God, only then my life came back to me. I was really choked, and I couldn't thank Swami enough. And finally, I was just, I couldn't control later all the tears became joyful tears, and I couldn't thank Swami enough. And then I was trying to console her. "No, my dear, it's nothing. You know why this happened? Because there were some of them who were not happy with your journey, that they are little jealous upon you, so that evil thoughts or the evil eyes has bothered you, has affected you. That's why you got this kind of injury, that you fell down." And immediately my son, who was sitting at the back, my older son, he just touched me and he said, "Amma, don't give any lame excuses. It is your mistake. You didn't pay attention when she was about to fall down. You should have paid attention. That's a new experience for her. So you should have been careful before, or you should have told her that don't move, just stay as you are. I'll get the soap. So it is your mistake. Don't find any excuses, Amma." Because I told you, right, my husband is a Mahatma Gandhi and my children are like him. So obviously, since he said that, I said, "Yes, my dear, you're right. It's my mistake, so I truly apologize for that. So finally we came and reached Kansas, and my husband came to the airport and he received us, and we all were so happy. But the joy or the happiness did not last long, because we were in the next step, that he has to move to Michigan, and we didn't know whether we all will move to Michigan or should we stay here and he goes there. So how will we manage with one person's income, and how are we going to repay this $10,000 to that lady? So how are we going to manage without my husband? How are we going to manage with my grandmother if there is any kind of emergency or any other thing for that matter? So all these feelings were going in my mind, and by the time we came, and the other thing is, we thought now we have to sell the house. That's the main priority right now. So if we sell the house through the realtor, they may say take all the money, whatever gain we get. Or if we sell through our sell by owner, if we put, and if we wanted to sell it by our own selves, then there is no guarantee the house will be sold. So what to do? So we were debating. So by the time we came to a conclusion, already end of August came, middle of September came, and we lost the choice. Lost the time. So we thought, okay, we cannot delay further. We have only only 2 more months. Okay, come what may, let's go ahead and put for sale by owner, so that we will not lose any money. Whatever money we have to save and pay the debt back. Of course, I think I asked for that too to Swami, that should I need to go through the realtor or through for sale by owner. Asked him to come and appear, and of course he appeared in my dream as a picture, and that's it. I took it for granted. And then every week we were trying to have an open house, and people will come and they'll write comments. Oh, the house is neat and tidy, but it doesn't have a basement. Oh, the house looks spick and span, but the rooms are very small. This or that, one or the other, they were just sending a reply, comments, and nobody were coming forward to buy it. So we came almost, it was November the 9th, I think. November 9th, Swami's number. So November 9th, we came to that, close to that day. Hardly we had only 10 days or so to go back to Michigan. So what shall we do? We didn't know what to do. That day, I think, happened to be a Thursday. I don't remember exactly the date, but it happened to be a Thursday, close to the date, to November 19th. So what happened? I was really frustrated. After the bhajans were over, I looked at Swami and I told him, Swami, now the technology has improvised. So I'm not going to look into the book right now. So you tell me, Swami, if this house is going to get sold, you'll be able to help us and we'll be able to pay the loan. I want the answer in the computer now, through my inbox. You have to answer through my computer. I prayed to him and I told my children, Satish, go ahead and open the computer. Let me see if Swami has answered my prayer. He said, Amma, what are you talking? Try to be practical, Amma. I said, definitely, Kanna, but now I know Swami can answer through any media. So please go ahead and open the computer. Let us see. So he also went and opened the computer, and we opened the inbox, and lo and behold, we found 2 emails over there. The first email, it said, pack your belongings, Jayanthi, and my husband's name, Mohan. So he has put like that. I mean, that was a statement. And the user, it said unknown. And then the second email was there, another email, and that said the user was unknown, but the subject was Swami's words. So these were the 2 emails that I saw. So immediately I felt, oh, Swami says pack your belongings. So and he says Swami's words, so which means Swami is telling us to pack, which means we are going to move, we are going to really leave. All will be well. And that's it. We are so happy. And by the time, within that short time frame, my grandma became an ardent devotee of Swami. So that following Sunday, she told, by the time those people will come and take a look, why don't you all, remember you told me that if you write a letter, Swami answers the prayers, why don't you all sit and write a letter, she told. We said, okay, let's sit and write, and we all wrote a letter. And my boys, they also wrote a letter, but it lasted only 1 minute or so. I was puzzled and I told them, are you not writing the letters? I told you to write a letter to Swami. They said, yes, Amma, we have written the letters. I said, okay, come on, show me, let me see the letter. Amma, you should not see it. This was for Swami. I cannot show it to you. He cannot show it to you. Oh, it doesn't matter. Swami knows I'm your mother, right? He will not care about it. You just give it to me. Let me see, then we can give to that mother. Give it to me first. So saying, I grabbed the letters from them. And then when I opened the letter, I was really dumbfounded, because They both have written only one single line. All they wrote was, Swami, you know the best for us, you do whatever is best for us. So that was the only line they both have written it. And we were really amazed about their maturity. Whereas in my case, I have written pages after pages, each and every detail with all the like meticulously, each and every detail I want to pinpoint so that Swami will fulfill all those wishes. Whereas our boys, they have written like this. So we were so thankful and we placed it at Swami's feet. The following Thursday came. Remember, I told you only 10 days left, right? So following Thursday, as usual, all the people, they all came to see the home. And one of the realtor left a note, my client is really interested in your house. So what do you say? Do you want to go for it? If so, you let us know. Whereas another person, he said, so this happened. And then one other person, he just came on by his own, looked into the home. And when he was about to leave, he came towards the entrance. And then he looked at me and he said, I asked him, sir, do you like this house? He said, yes, I do like this house. The moment he said that line, I like the house, my imagination went to sky level. Oh, he's going to buy the house, we are going to pay the debt, we are going to take our grandma and move to Michigan, everything will be fine, this and that. Within the fraction of a second, you know, mind travels so fast, right? So my imagination just blew up to that level. And suddenly, as you know, when your ego goes up, Swami will drop you on the spot. Immediately the next second statement that gentleman said, though I like it, I cannot promise you that I am going to buy the house. I said, I just talked in my own language. What are you talking about? I just felt bad and then he left. So I was really puzzled. I didn't know. This man came, he said he might or not he will buy the home. Whereas the realtor, he said the client is interested in buying. So if he buys a home, the client is going to buy the home, I will not get any money. All the money will go to the realtor. But if this gentleman is buying, maybe I can debate with him. What shall I do? What he is not certain as well. So what to do? I was just debating and praying to Swami vigorously, and went to bed. The next day morning, one other couple, they called and they said, can we come and see your home? He said, yeah, please do come over. They came and they went quickly for a round and they came. Immediately they came out. I said, are you interested in this house? You just took a quick round. Are you looking for a certain particular thing? No, we are not here to look for ourselves. This is for our brother who came yesterday. Oh, you are talking about Mr. Wilson? Yes. Yeah, he was the one who came and wanted to buy, but he wanted to get a second opinion. Oh, is that right, sir, ma'am? Okay, what is your approach or your opinion about this house? I asked the husband and wife. They said, oh, if we were him, we would have bought the house right away. Then I said, okay, in this case, don't tell this dialogue to me. Go and tell your brother. They just laughed and they went. They left. The next day morning, that person sent an email saying that I want to make an offer to this home, on this home. So when I read that email, when my husband told me, I told him that we cannot reduce the price. In the meantime, what we did was, because we knew the market rate, and what we did, because we had to pay the $10,000 extra, we raised the amount for extra $10,000. But since it was only 2 years since we bought, only like $100 was raised for that, upgraded for the price of the home. But we just jacked up the price to $10,000 more. So that once we get that amount, we want to give that exact amount to that lady and be free. That was our idea. So when this person asked that he wants to make an offer, I told my husband, tell him that maybe we can reduce $1,000 because we have $1,000 in the bank. So we can say that we can reduce $1,000, but not more than that. If at all, if he asks, if you want to reduce, then ask him where is if there is any reason that he wants to reduce, where he can find fault in this house. So my husband also said, yeah, that's a good idea, let us do that. I also thought the same way he thought, and then he also sent it. When he sent the email, the next, immediately there was a reply no, he called me actually. He called my home and I picked up the phone and he said, okay, I'm so happy with your house. I want to sign the contract. When do you want to sign the contract? This was on Tuesday, he's asking me. I said, sir, what about this Thursday? Yeah, no problem. I can come this Thursday. Okay, we can sign the contract. So we went through the realtor and to the office, and then we signed the contract. Once he signed the contract, then he asked me, when do you want to do the closing? I said, sir, how about next Thursday? Yeah, I'm fine, no problem. You can go ahead and close it on next Thursday. So the next Thursday, we went to the lawyer's office and we were seated there. And you know, generally they'll have all the paper thing, all the details in the upfront, right? And I could see my house, price of my house. It was only $100 has been raised. And we are raised to $10,000. So where is $100 and where is 10,000? You cannot even imagine, you know. So what I did immediately, very cleverly, I just put my hand like that as well, hiding the figure there. And then we were talking and we were trying to sign the papers and everything. And praying to Swami, of course, inwardly I was just continuously praying to Swami that all should go well. And then at the end I told that person, sir, this Saturday we are planning to leave. So would you mind if you can lend your home for one more day? Now it has become your home, can I just use it for one more day? And he looked at us back and he said, ma'am, I'm not going to come and jump into the home right away. You have an elderly lady here, so please take your time, no hurry at all. I can wait. Once you are done, leave the keys on the firehouse, on the top of that firehouse and fireplace, and I will just pick it up from there. Not a problem, he told, and he left. And in fact he gave a greeting card, wished us, and he left. Then finally we came home. Next day we packed, and that's when we saw that email. As I told you, my grandma was so became an ardent devotee that short time frame. She told Jayanthi, when Swami said pack your belongings, why are you worried? We'll sit and write a letter, we'll pack you just pack, everything will fall into place. And exactly as she said, that Friday we all just tried to pack everything and loaded the truck, and on Saturday morning we left to Michigan. And we left, and that night we stayed in one motel, and the next day Sunday we reached Michigan. And then Monday morning on November 19th, as Swami said, my husband joined the job in Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan. So Swami can do any wonders. Within the 2 weeks of time frame, he made everything fall into place. And also on top of that, this is the main thing. So once we got that money, immediately we got a beautiful greeting card, and we wrote a detailed letter thanking that sister for lending the $10,000 to us, and we paid that exact $10,000 back to her. And we cannot thank Swami enough, and then I cannot thank those sisters. Till today, I will always be very grateful to her, always keep remembering them. And I want to thank you, and this is the story. So now we'll move on to the next story in Michigan. That's the main story I wanted to share, that started literally, it was a literal transformation that happened in Michigan, and that was a main turning point of our life in Michigan about our relationship with Swami. So I'll share that in the next video. Thank you. Sai Ram.